Hey everyone, it's Domenica Scatel here for another edition of Coffee and Conversation. And I am so excited for all of you to meet my friend and next guest, Nicholas A. Hanley. He has been featured in Yahoo Finance. He's an investor, a coach, a professional speaker. There is so much that we're going to talk about and bring to the table today. He is a serial entrepreneur who has gained a large following on TikTok, who is utilizing his knowledge base to help his community. So let's bring him on up. All right. Hey, friend, how are
Hey,
you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Ready to dive into this conversation with you?
Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome. So I just love starting out with asking the question, what is something that would be a fun fact about you?
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Okay, fun fact is I play 8 instruments.
Eight, really?
I do.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, that is multi-talented right there. I just do the guitar.
Hey, we can do a jam session one day. One day.
Right? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take you up on that offer for
All
reals.
right. Cool.
Yeah, so my fun fact is that I always like to tell folks, okay, when you go to the grocery aisle and you're at the
Yeah.
cereal aisle, okay, when you see that box of Fruity Pebbles, you're going to think of me because I'm going to challenge you to eat a box and to try to cry because it's like to me Fruity Pebbles is like a
Okay.
rainbow in a bowl.
Okay.
And
All right.
you just can't be sad. You can't.
True. That was definitely one of my favorites growing up. It was that Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Pebbles. It was, yeah, but Captain Crunch. That was definitely that was on there. That was on the
Or yeah, you know what, Captain Crunch, you cannot go wrong. Yeah, it
exactly.
gives Fruity Pebbles its run for the money for reals.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so how about you start off with just letting our viewers know a little bit about you?
Definitely. So
Okay.
again, thank you so much for having me out here.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I wanted to let everyone know. So I am from New York. I was born in Manhattan, lived in Queens, raised in Long Island, and now I reside in South Florida. So I'm currently in school. I want to be a veterinarian,
Okay.
and so that's my educational pursuit right now. Going to be in animal behaviors, which I'm excited for. I went to Peru. I believe it was about, I think it's 4 years. Wow, time flies. But about 4 years ago, and it solidified my decision to be a veterinarian. So I said, I want to travel, work with animals, and this is where I want to be. So, but when I was younger, what happened was I said to myself, I want to work with animals because people sometimes are not the nicest. That's what I told my parents. And then I said I want to be a dog doctor until finding out the proper terminology.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's my educational pursuit. And on the business side of the spectrum, I started a business where we help individuals with website design, marketing. And after that, I said I want to increase our revenue stream to kind of help facilitate, the process. So I said to myself,
Okay.
what else could I do? So I went to my mentor, and he introduced me to the foreign exchange market and then
Mm,
cryptocurrency. So I said to myself, I love patterns. I'm a patterns based person. I don't know about you, but
okay.
yeah, I love to connect those dots. So I said to
I love it.
myself, yeah. So now I'm here and using TikTok because I know attention is the newfound currency. So using the two to make something work. So
Right, right, for reals.
yeah,
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so I have so many questions for you, and I actually have some audience questions because we did a little teaser, and so I actually have some questions that we will, ask you, and so I'm excited to share those with you. But before we do that, I want to know more about crypto. So I feel like not a lot of two people know what it is. Can you give us like a basic explanation of it?
definitely. So back in the day, there was we used to barter for services, right? So it's just an
Okay.
emerging market for currency. So it's a digital asset, digital currency. and now you can pretty much buy pretty much anything with a Bitcoin or using one of the
Mhm.
crypto um, currencies that are available.
Okay.
So there's different transactional coins, there's functional coins, and there's stable coins. The difference is just as we know, Bitcoin is a transactional coin, and utilizing that for purchases, for buying a pizza. I don't know if you've ever heard the story back in the day when people were saying Bitcoin was 10 cents, and I used to buy like this much before, and I threw it away because I didn't think it was gonna amount to anything.
All
I don't know if you
right.
ever heard those stories. Right. So
Yes.
if they would have held on to it, now Bitcoin is ranging. Last time I checked was 59,000. I didn't check it today, but yeah, definitely it's soaring. So from 10 cents all the way up to 59,000 or so. It's definitely an investment that's not going away anytime soon. And
Right.
also the banks are investing a lot of money into it. So
Okay.
definitely just it's an emerging market as well as yeah, it's not leaving anytime soon.
Okay. Now, thanks for sharing that. I feel like it's a good conversation to just let people know to like be aware of it, right? And so is there a place or like a tip that you would share with people if they just kind of wanted to talk to someone about it on how to get started or like a place you can go and read about it?
Definitely. We have a video. I trade with an investment team, and we
Okay.
trade everything and anything in terms of crypto, stocks,
Right.
forex, options, NFTs, which are something different we can talk about later. But um, we we trade everything,
Okay.
including silver as well. But a place where they can find the information is if they go straight to my website, nicholasahanley.com. They can
Okay.
find they can find information, and if they have other questions, we have weekly meetings where we give a little bit of the information to them in bite-sized, pieces, so it's easy to
Perfect.
digest.
Yeah, no, that's great because I know sometimes this information can be overwhelming. So that's amazing that people can just connect with you on your website and connect to what you those things that you have to offer and just kind of let them know, where to start and then like the next step. So I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
100%. And honestly, when I first heard of it in, I would believe it was 2013, I read about Bitcoin and I was
Mhm.
skeptical, like everyone.
Right.
And again, I just was doing research along the years. And then as soon as my mentor came to me, I would say 2 years ago now, and it just made sense because if these larger institutions are investing large amounts of money into something like this, it's similar to the internet when it first came out.
Right.
Everyone was skeptical, and if we were to invest into the internet, when it first came out, we would have missed the boat. And
Right, right.
so definitely something to take a look at for sure, and it is not going away anytime soon. So
Okay. Definitely. And so tell us like Yahoo Finance, my friend. Like brag about that. I want to know more.
yes, yes, yes. So for me, I love teaching and giving the information that I've learned. I'm
Okay.
no guru, I'm no expert. However, I've used the information and taught individuals exactly what I know. Because, for each one, you teach one. So
Right.
doing my job to do that. And through Yahoo Finance, I said the best form of attention is, well, the best form of currency is attention. So I said to myself,
Right.
let me grow a following on TikTok. So I
Okay.
started growing a following with situational comedy, educating through investments and everything else, and just showing my journey. And I said to myself, okay, this is cool. I was gaining some traction. I started in April. And as I was growing, I was learning tips and tricks. I joined a school of TikTok with it was Trevor Bell. He does fitness and cosplay. He's from New
Mhm.
York, originally from Houston,
Okay.
and it was phenomenal. And I said to myself, let me continue this traction. So I was going forward, and right now I've grown to 63,000 followers within a matter of months. It's almost a year
Phenomenal.
now.
Okay.
Yeah. So and it's they recognized it through another individual who is helping me through tactics in terms
Okay.
of marketing and placing myself in the right position. So
Okay.
just like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, it's the mastermind principle. You have to be around individuals who have an invested interest in you succeeding.
Yes.
So I think that's
Yes.
the biggest thing, 100%.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And you know what? We are going to table that because I would love to do a specific we'll talk about it offline. Like that needs to be talked about because I am a big fan of saying find your executive board. And I don't mean
Mm,
executive board as in you would go sit in a community organization or nonprofit. I'm like your own executive board.
mhm,
And I often talk with different friends on the difference of having advocates in your life and just having
right.
friends who just clap and cheer you on, right? And that's
Yep.
phenomenal. We need all types of, people around us. But when you have an advocate and that person being on your executive board, like where you can go to where they understand, they want to see you succeed, they invest in you, they, put your name in people's hats when you're not around. Like that, right? And it took
Mhm,
me a long time to figure that out because I didn't grow up with a mentor, and it wasn't until I was an adult that people started crossing my path and I really started developing those relationships. And so I love that you touched on that because it really changes your life.
exactly, 100%. And for me, I'm not afraid to ask those questions.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to put myself in the positions similar to on Clubhouse, which, where we met to
Yeah,
say, listen, I need advice, I need assistance. I'm weak in this area, but I'm strong in this area. Let's make some magic. Let's make some
right.
things happen. And for me, based on my faith, I pray about every action that I do, and
Mhm.
I go forth boldly. So that's what I
I love
do.
it. Yeah, and Clubhouse is another
Mhm.
platform that just launched. I think they have a year now, right? I believe.
Right.
And
Yes.
yeah, it's if anybody that is viewing and hasn't had an opportunity to connect with that app, it's been a game changer. So I feel like Clubhouse has been an opportunity to be in spaces where normally like you wouldn't have access to or have access to people, that
Mhm.
have been being able to give value in that app. So it's been really like amazing. I have so many notebooks where there's like an evening that I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to jump on and I'm just taking notes after notes after notes. And I'm like, wow, this is great. Like a place where people genuinely like give that value. And then what's cool about it is that I feel like there's no judgment because, people see your photo, they can read your bio, but the authenticity and the heart comes out of your voice. And so you can tell who genuinely, which is 99.9% of the people on there are just very heartfelt giving value.
100%. Yeah, because you can definitely tell the individuals who are trying to embellish versus the individuals who just want to have the genuine conversation.
Right, definitely. So
Mhm.
I wanted to also touch on, I know that your personal mission statement is to retire your mom.
Yes.
And I was hoping you can share a little bit about that. Why? Because I feel that it's important that, yeah, especially when we have those days that we feel like, oh, there's no momentum, or I'm kind of
Mhm.
stuck, or I'm feeling very unmotivated. I feel like it's our whys that push us forward. So, can you share a little bit about how that sparked in you?
Yes. So the reason why that mission sparked, changing gears, I come from a background where half Jamaican, half
Okay.
Panamanian. My mother's side of the family is Jamaican, and my father's side is Panamanian. Unfortunately, my father passed away to pancreatic cancer
Mm.
in 2009. So ever since that blow to the family, honestly, it's been um, my mission to make sure that I'm strong for the family, strong for my
Mhm.
mom, and so she's not working as hard.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing: family and community. A lot of things we miss in the states that it's a sad reality because we're chasing the dollar and not making time for our families. And then if we get to the point where we're chasing all the money that we want, we lose out on family. So if
Right.
we make that be the foundation, it changes the game for sure.
Definitely. I
So,
always say that for every yes, there's something you say
mhm,
no to, right? And
right,
sometimes, especially in entrepreneurship, it gets so easy to have the family be the no.
right,
And I feel that through COVID, that was really something that was very present in not only myself, but also my sphere of influence of really having that moment of taking a breath and taking a pause and seeing how much time really was away. And then something that I've kind of learned through the community work that I do as well is that sometimes things present to you and sometimes they're like meant to distract you and they're
mhm,
not really aligned with your mission or your vision, but they seem like great opportunities. And so for me, it was a lot of trial and error to figure out kind of like where I'm aligned and what is aligned with what I want to do. And
mhm,
I realized that this past year that, wow, I was
mhm,
distracted a lot. And, those things that I said yes to that took me away from that, those really core values that I have inside, which family is one,
right,
that it made me realize like, wow, didn't bring me any clients or I didn't help anyone. It was more of that take, like it was more of a benefit of my presence being there, or it was more of a benefit for whatever reason and on the other party, and which is, depending on who, what, where, and why, there's going to be times that that's going to happen. But also, you have to like internally ask yourself too, before you say that yes, like, is it definitely aligned with, where I need to be in this moment?
very true, very
Yeah, I
true.
love that. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. I always feel like it's
Mhm,
important that we share our core, why, because I feel like often social media has this opportunity to showcase highlights, the highlight reel of what we do, but lots of times we don't have that opportunity to really dive deep and
mhm,
why we do things, or what was that game changer that shifted us in the work that we do.
mhm,
I know that. So in 2019, I got an award. I got 2019, yeah, Latina of Influence. That was out in Los
mhm,
Angeles.
okay,
And I shared a story because I felt like, I want to acknowledge the people I that have influenced me by the work that I do every day. And I didn't just
right,
want to be there saying thank you, thank you, thank you to this person and that person. And so I chose to say a story, and it was the moment that I felt like everything shifted for me. I felt like I was in a career path that kind of just happened. It wasn't really what I studied. And, it was a moment where I was networking at a local event, which is the flea market. And,
okay,
I didn't really know where to go. It was just at the tip of my
mhm,
entrepreneurship journey.
mhm,
And, I had a mentor at the time that said, go try the flea market. And I thought, sure, why not? I
right,
didn't know there
right,
was chambers. I didn't know there was networking mixers,
right,
fundraisers that you
mhm,
could be a part of to meet people.
mhm,
And definitely I can deep dive into that's for another occasion. Really what happened to me that day was a series of unfortunate events that led to me going to my car and I had a dirty diaper smeared all over it. And it
mhm,
was, yeah, it was adult size, it was smeared to where the height of an adult, right? And so I know it wasn't like an accident where maybe a kid got it and was just like,
right, right,
putting it on the car. So I know it was intentionally done. And it was literally a series of events that happened. But my day finished with that. And it really sparked my fuel to really make sure that I elevate people, that make
mhm,
sure that I always am serving, that I always lead with positivity and really challenge myself to go against conformity.
mhm,
And it's really deep rooted with, a similar mission to you. That's my mom. She worked
mhm,
in the cannery for many, many, many years. She had to retire because she was going to lose her hearing because of all the industrial noise.
Right.
And so, I felt like she would tell me the stories that, sometimes because she made friends so easily, my mom is someone that naturally you can speak to. She never
Mm.
had issues, but her friends around her, if the supervisor didn't like them, they would literally say, "Sorry, you can't go to the restroom." And they'd be there standing for hours until that person felt like it was time for them to take a break or go,
Right.
take a healthy break. And she would tell me all these different stories. And she would come home and her feet would be aching. She couldn't walk. She'd be walking on tippy toes, and then she'd have to like make us food. And
Mm.
so I really, wanted to honor that sacrifice of, going to school, getting a degree. But then I also came a moment where I asked myself, and I felt this heartstring being pulled of like, is this really where I see myself for the next 25 years? And as I was having this conversation with myself, entrepreneurship kind of crossed my path and I haven't looked back. So I love that you share that, because when it comes to moms, they're sacred.
Yep. 100%. 100%. How many siblings do you have?
You know what? Just one. Just me and my sister. She's 5 years
Okay.
younger.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
am the baby of the family, youngest of
Okay.
five. Yeah.
Five, really.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, my dad has six siblings. There's six of him, and then my mom is also actually six. So six is like a foundation, but no, we're just two. So
Gotcha. Hey, listen, big family, big love. That's it.
right, right. So I definitely would. I wanted to try something new, so I shared that you were going to be my guest on my social media profiles, and I have some questions from our guests. So let me pull them up so I can share them with you.
Okay.
Let's see. So I have from Danette, how do you balance authenticity with your audience or perceived
Mm,
value?
how do I balance? Okay. So for me, it goes back to the why and the intention. When
Okay.
I when I first started TikTok, I I can dance, but I didn't go on enter the platform to dance, right? So everyone's familiar with those dances and everything else, but I said to myself that I want to genuinely show myself through my creativity of comedic sketch writing. So that's what I did, and to bridge the gap between everything else that I'm doing, but to authentically show oneself is to pour out your heart in every time you have a conversation. So there's a
Mhm.
feature where you can go live, but you need 1,000 followers. So what
Right.
I did first, I authentically showed myself through my comedy, was able to get to 1,000 within a matter of I'd probably say a month. Yeah, I'd say like a month and change. And then I said to myself, okay, the next step, going live. So I went live, and then I used to hold. I'm bringing them back. I'm bringing them back, but game nights. So the game nights were
Okay.
simple, very very simple. They come on, we play some games, and I'm talking to everyone in the chat, and I realized they were so happy about those game nights because it brought them value. It brought them
Mhm.
a break in the norm. Maybe they had a bad day at school,
Right.
had bad day at work, but they used to come into, because they call me King Nick on TikTok. So they come on to King Nick's TikTok, and I just called everyone kings and queens. I
Okay.
genuinely love everyone who comes into my life, even the haters and the hecklers. I love them too because they have big hearts. Because anyone who is bullying has been bullied. So
Right.
I have a soft spot for the hecklers, because sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can change the heart of the heckler based on the love that you give for them,
Right. Right.
and they can see that for sure. So through those game nights, I said to myself, this is kind of gaining some traction. So I said to myself, let me create a Discord group. Create a Discord group. We have 100+ members, and I notify them every time I go live.
Okay.
And if they have any questions, suggestions, they can always send me a DM on Discord.
Okay.
And but yeah, just showing one's authentic self is from the foundation of your why. So
I
that's how I
love
do it
that.
through my comedic creativity process. Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's really the key, right? It's just to be
Mhm.
authentically you.
Mhm. And then also, I think the follow-up question to that, or the
Mhm.
part two, was how do I balance the
Yes.
balance? The biggest thing is two things. One is making sure you set, for me, multiple alarms, appointment reminders, have accountability
Right.
partners, because sometimes we have a lot going on, but we have to make sure that we're properly allocating that time, as well as bringing more individuals onto our team, right?
Yes.
So it's like the mastermind principle. So with Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I don't know about you, but I'm not the fastest reader, but I'm a Pac-Man for audiobooks. So,
Same here, friend. Same here.
yep,
Audiobooks is where Audible is where it's at.
yep,
Right? Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And
Definitely.
I have a kind of similar question, but
Mhm.
how do you implement what you do for the community?
Ooh, good question. Who asked the question on that one? Who's
Oh, Desiree. So
Desiree?
Desiree, yes.
Desiree, thank you for the question. So the how do I implement everything I do into the community? Like, so just pretty much giving back.
Hmm.
So when I was younger, I was always involved in my church. I did a lot of things for tech, for music. I sang on stage. Sometimes I played drums. And I said to myself, I want to do this on a bigger scale.
Okay.
So I was the administrative director for my church. I was the youngest on the board. But after I made the transition and passed off the responsibility, I said I want to do something global. So I've teamed up with a company that helps nonprofits, and we help them raise funds through
Okay.
different strategic, planned, organized funding to help them gain traction in terms of in their community. So that's one facet, and
I
then
love
just
it.
utilizing my TikTok audience to help them and just finding them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. That's exciting. I love being able to connect with local nonprofits and, help with their charitable events. And I think my problem for me is that there's
Mhm.
so much that I want to like help, and then
Yeah,
I can't be divided in 10 places. So it's really hard for me to choose, but
yeah.
I am definitely aligned with that. And I have another question from Erica, which is,
Erica.
do you have any basic TikTok tips?
Basic TikTok tips. All right,
Mhm.
Erica, I hope you have a pen ready. I hope you do. I hope you do.
Bring
So
it.
I'll give you, you're right, exactly. So three, I'll give three right now.
Okay.
The first one goes back to the foundation. What is your why? What do you want to do? Do you want to create dance moves? Are you a dancer? Are you a singer? If you create comedic sketches, if you are a news anchor, whatever the case may be, you have to start with your foundation. So
Mm,
that's your why. And then all the trends, all the TikTok commotion that's happening, you won't be swayed, but more so they'll be swayed to your branding, right? So for instance, let's say a musician or a singer, right? The musician is a independent artist from Chicago, just as random, but independent
okay.
artist
Okay.
from Chicago. They want to put out their music, they want to be on Spotify, the whole nine yards. So what they should do is start with their why. That's their why. Now, any trends that are coming in, just create content based on those trends with your branding. So now you're molding that trend to your brand, you know?
Okay.
So that's tip number one. Tip number two is use relevant hashtags. Do not use FYP. Sometimes FYP
Mm,
may shotgun your content out to the masses, but it's not a detailed. It's not strategic, right?
okay.
Because if you're shotgunning your content to everyone, but not everyone's interested, they might like it, they may comment, but will they stay around? That's the key. That's how you build a fan base, because for an independent artist, they need those streamers. They need individuals who are going to share their music, buy their pre-sales, and that's what I teach my group on Discord. So they'll send me DMs and I'll teach them to get to 1,000. I've had a few say, Nick, thank you so much for the small tips, because it's been helping.
Right.
So that's tip number, what was that, tip number two?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, lose track of my tips. All right, here we
Right.
go. So tip number 3, good lighting. You do not need a ring light. However, if
Okay.
you have one, cool. If you don't, natural sunlight works as well. So
Right.
if you can prop your phone up on the windowsill, or I've seen a lot of TikTokers grow to hundreds of thousands using their bathroom light. They just walk in,
Mm,
they're talking, and they're either ranting or giving information. So
okay.
just good lighting as a whole, wherever you get it from.
All right.
And then
Perfect.
I'll give a bonus. I'll give a bonus.
All right. Bring it.
Thumbnails and a good caption. So those are 2 big things. If you have a good caption on your video or a thumbnail picture,
Mhm.
individuals are more likely to not scroll past you, but they'll stay and watch. So
Mm,
if you can catch their attention in the first 3 seconds after a good thumbnail, you're doing something good, you know?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a great bonus. That's like the cherry on top.
exactly. And if anyone needs more information, listen, just send me a DM and we'll get you straight.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I have a last question
Mhm,
from Stephanie
mhm.
about how do you build your community that really supports you, that shows up every time when you do a TikTok or something unrelated. So I
Okay.
heard you say like Discord a couple of times. I would say that that would be one way.
Yeah, so Discord is one way. There is a community app that I haven't used yet, but I'm thinking about transitioning to that as well because you can
Okay.
send out an SMS message depending on how large you are as a creator. But for a creator who's just starting out, I would say definitely Discord. And if you are able to go live with 1,000 followers, letting them know, hey, listen, everyone, I'm going to be live either every day or every Tuesday, whatever the day is, and just tune in. And as they're tuning in, allow them to follow you on multiple channels. But the
Okay.
key is having it on Discord, having that community, that it factor on Discord, because now
Great.
you can put the power back into the fans in the sense of if you're giving them time and energy, and if, God forbid, TikTok goes down, if you had 3,000 followers, they're gone. How are they going to find you again?
Right.
So you have to do multiple things where you might have to set up a link tree. And the link tree has multiple links like Twitter, Instagram, so on and so forth. So having that set up, as well as Discord, a community based system where you can connect with them real time.
Yeah, that's great.
Hmm.
So, have you ever thought about Patreon?
I have. That's my
Okay.
next transition because, believe it or
Okay.
not, I also do voiceovers. I landed a role
Ah,
as
you
an.
do?
I do. So
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
yeah. So I landed a role. My character's name is Dante, and Dante is an EMT, and he's a part of a zombie apocalypse. So it's like The Walking Dead meets Zombieland, and
Okay.
it has that dry humor like The Office, which is one of my favorite shows.
Oh,
Just hands
yes.
down.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's a combination of those two, Zombieland as well as The Walking Dead, and they're just helping the citizens in the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
And it's called Death City. So it's definitely gonna be a
Wow.
great animation when it comes out for sure.
Oh, definitely gonna look for it. Yes, we'll blast it out as well for everyone to catch
Yes.
it. That's phenomenal. So yeah, I the reason I ask is because I was starting to look at Patreon for the podcast and then
Right.
also for this platform. And I thought I gotta do something to really, start to do the next layer of that community that you touched on because I feel that those are 2 great platforms to be able to, dig a little bit deeper and build more meaningful and solid relationships. So that's
100%.
amazing.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you need help afterwards, we can probably talk about the building infrastructure of the community base of Patreon.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that. And so I know we're coming down to the end of our interview. Definitely want to honor your time because you're joining us all the way from Florida. And I know there's a time difference. So I wanted to make sure that I give you a space to touch on anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to highlight for yourself, and then definitely let everyone know exactly how they can connect with you as well.
Okay, yes. So if anyone is interested in more information, I actually have a free PDF for anyone who's interested in just learning the 5 things to learn about cryptocurrency and one coin to buy now. Um, yeah, we're now releasing in terms of a coin a week, what to invest, what to look out for. So if you send me a DM on Instagram with my name, Nicholas A. Hanley, and just say PDF for crypto, I'll send you that PDF, and we'll kind of go from there. But you can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse, all with the
Yes.
same name, Nicholas A. Hanley, and also my website.
Perfect. Well, Nicholas, thank you so much for being here and just for your time and all the wisdom and fun tips that you gave us. We're going to definitely have you back because I feel like we can dedicate some time to like several things that we touched on.
Right. And
Right?
I have one quote for your listeners.
Okay.
So there's a quote I made a while ago, and I'm definitely gonna put on T-shirts and everything else. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. One should simply think outside of the circle because there is no box. You are not limited to the edges within your life. Drop the mic, walk out.
And with that, we will see you on the next episode of Coffee and Conversation.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. See you on the next one.
Yes.
Uh-huh.